Generals. Hey, they play a game this weekend. They play a game this Sunday. You know who's going to be there? Me! And Adam Wilde and Jesse Blake. SDPN's going to be there. And then after we watch the Oshawa Generals play the Kitchener Rangers, we're going to do a live podcast at Bond Street in Oshawa. And I am told that we are going to have 2 guests from the Oshawa Generals. That's Ho-Shi Wang, who was selected in the second round by the San Jose Sharks in June, and Sam Roberts. They both play for the Gens. So if you want to come to a hockey game, enjoy a fun live show, or just enjoy the bright lights of Schwallywood, click the link in the description down below. It's going to be a great night. We went there last year, and it was a blast!
Pull it together, Stevie. Here we go.
Dangle podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
You know, Steve Dangle is fond, Jesse, of calling people pants-shitting babies.
Yeah.
And look at him now! Look at him now at home shitting his pants! Ha ha! Actually, I'm sorry. It is too much information. Steve has the stomach flu. We're not sure how long he's going to last on the show today.
No. You know that guy on TikTok who does like he has the overalls and he pretends to be like a Southern grandpa?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Reckon I could shit through a screen door.
Oh God, dude. No thanks. No thanks.
Well, okay.
All right. Now,
Great.
you are coming to us from the Blue Room, which is great. And the reason, I don't know if you guys saw LFR last night, Steve started burping at the end of it. Well, now you know why. It was a funny moment. It's not so funny now. We actually had to delay recording today. We tried to get Steve in the studio. He couldn't do it. And now Steve, and it looks like there's like that little stuffed animal Steve sitting on the floor. Little Steve.
Yeah, little Steve.
Little
in the
Steve.
corner.
There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, what I love
I'm
about
not going to get him.
What I love about Steve's
That's
Blue
okay.
Room, Jesse, is it shows you the tremendous amount of shit that he has, like from this angle. And people asked me last night, they're like, you know the hockey figures in your streaming setup?
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
those yours? And I'm like, no, those are the ones that didn't make Steve's wall.
Yeah. No,
I still have more.
I'm not on your side, Adam.
There's so
Steve, I'm on your side. Collect cool things.
Maximalist Steve.
What's wrong with having hobbies?
Someone read my book. Sorry, the second one.
The second
one.
one.
There you
Yeah. Oh, wow. Look at that. Man, it's actually really well put together.
Right? No, Adam's going to sit here and just dump on it.
I'm dumping on
dumps
it.
in the toilet.
Speaking of dumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's bad. It's bad that you have a photo with Crosby. Oh, it's so terrible.
I'm Steve Dangle.
Adam?
Yeah.
Adam, there's Charlie. Comment.
Why does it say
It didn't
conquer
end well.
COVID-19? Did you really?
He's wearing
Okay.
because I
That-
literally have a Conquer COVID-19 hat,
Do
and
you
I
really?
put it on him.
That's
in a
the
picture.
one thing.
Not anymore.
I'm gonna say you don't need up on your wall.
Why?
You want to be reminded of COVID every day?
Because Jesse's
I want to be
anti-vaxxer.
reminded of my smiling dog.
You didn't have a picture of him without that COVID hat on?
Well, it got painted.
Man,
It was painted by a lovely listener named Sandra, and I am grateful for it.
we should
Unlike
have
you,
we should have a
being
picture
great.
of Charlie in his true form, which is ripping apart my luggage to get to
Yeah,
food in my bed.
that too.
Which he did.
Yeah. Is that
I'm
Sandra,
surprised-
mother? Is that Sandra, mother of the podcast, Sandra?
Yes,
Yeah, Sandra
shout out
Cormier.
Sandra.
We
Yeah.
love Sandra.
that is who that is. I'm surprised he didn't say Charlie in his true form. Ashes floating in a river.
Oh
All right, now listen. We got Steve for a limited time today. All right.
Yes.
Like there is an expiration date on this, and we're already about 5 minutes in, and I'm not sure how much longer do we want to go. I figured like today's top story is not the Leafs, but since we have Steve, should we start there?
Yeah.
And then when Steve expires and floats down the river with Charlie, we can go to other things. Because there's the JT Miller stuff, there's Celebrini, Bedard, there's Rantanen and Waugh. And can you imagine all the French spit back and forth between Waugh and Alain Nasreddin last night? Just so many French words.
Was it Tabernacle or Colis?
No, there's so
that got said.
Oh, Steve's on his A game.
yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
He's pulling out the French.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. That's all on Duolingo too. I was shocked.
Wow.
Remember when you tried to learn Czech and then you gave up?
Yeah, that was really dumb. I shouldn't have done it.
Well, to what end? Honestly, like, do Czech people even use Czech outside of Czech?
No. Like, can I tell you my honest to God thoughts?
Yeah.
I was so when you have a newborn, you need a newborn activity, something that is not taking care of the baby. And I was like, I'm going to learn a language. What language should I learn? And for some reason, I was like, French, which I took in school. No. Italian, which I actually also took in school. No. You know what? A lot of Alan Walsh's clients are Czech. And one day I'm going to ask Miroslav Holinka a question in Czech, and it's going to blow his mind. And so I'm going to learn Czech for 6 months. It was dumb.
And how much
shouldn't have done it.
How much can you speak?
I remember none words.
Zero
words.
Yeah. That's
Zero.
cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Zero.
No, French should have been where you started. It's kind of like our other language here in Canada. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not to mention my son's going to learn French soon, and
Yeah.
he's going to be like, I don't know what this means. And I'm going to be like, I might.
you know Czech.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Listen, we all saw it last night, but I want to show you this because this is, to me, the entire game, and I did not send this through to Steve, but I can describe it. And the reason I can describe it is because it's also going to work for audio listeners. Justin Bourne pointed out something that was absolutely beautiful about last night's overtime. No, it was not the way the St. Louis Blues continued to rag the puck. Which is, to me, a crime against humanity. The way St. Louis plays hockey, much like the Leafs, is slow and brutal and bad. But the way they play it in overtime, you should have relegation for that. Like, that's just unacceptably annoying and boring. And the fans were getting on them and booing them. But what I love about our Portuguese king, John Tavares, is he went 1-on-3, and people are like, actually, it's 1-on-2, and one of the St. Louis Blues was there in support. Were there any Leafs around him? No. It was 1-on-3. It was 1-on-3, and he didn't kick the puck to Morgan Riley. No, Jesse, let us know when you're ready to go.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
He stepped on the puck and threw it backwards with his skate blade. And he was fighting off two guys, and this guy is 35 years old. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, John Tavares?
So awesome. And Jesse, not to give you more work, but how long had Tavares been out there for that final shift? Because
I can
he
look
was
it up for you
hemmed.
if you want.
Yeah, he was hemmed. Domi was hemmed, and there was a defenseman who was hemmed, and I can't remember who it was. And both him and Domi wanted to go, but Domi wisely was like, I don't know, we got to change sometime. And Tavares said, you know what? Hop on. I don't give a good gosh darn. None of us had any idea who was coming over the boards.
No. No, you're right.
John Tavares' final shift was from 1:02:30 to 1:04:06.
Whoa.
There you go.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't
90
quite
seconds.
as long as I thought.
90 seconds in the
still
NHL 3-on-3 is a long time, especially at the end of your 90 seconds where you're killing a 3-on-1. You know?
Yeah, I can't do math. It is exactly as long as I thought it was. I thought you said like 20 seconds.
Oh, no, all good.
All right,
And you know what's interesting is John Tavares to me feels like watching again, he's got a long way to go. But for those of you who watched baseball in my era, there was a pitcher named Andy Pettitte. And Andy Pettitte pitched for the New York Yankees, and then he went and pitched for the Astros. And I think he played like 26 or 27 years. And he was still elite basically right up until the end. Why? When he got into the league, he was like a fireball pitcher, blah, 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 blah. But what changed midway through Andy Pettitte's career was that he stopped going, I'm going to throw like this forever, because you can't. And he started working on things like his changeup, curveball, slower pitches, mixing speeds. I think towards the end, his fastball was barely getting to 90, but it didn't matter. And he was still great, and he was still winning World Series. John Tavares has never been a fleet of foot guy, never been a guy that dominated you through the neutral zone. And one of the things that we used to talk about on this show when the Leafs team under Dubas and Shanny was a lot faster was sometimes, hey, does John have the speed to keep up with these guys as he gets older? What's been interesting is that now that he is older, and there's no denying his game may just end up lasting longer because he was already slow, but he took really good care of his body, and he is able to do intelligent things like that. That's a small thing, and I realize the Leafs only beat the Blues, but I do think we need to talk about Tavares' start and the fact that, he was really the only NHL caliber centerman in the lineup last night.
Yeah, not even cruel. Not even cruel. Like, I mean, they all played like it. Domi had a good game. I really like Quillen. There's only X amount of roster spots. And how about Steven Lorentz? Like, really unsung player from that game. I think he was +2, played 15 minutes, which is like unheard of unless it goes to double overtime in the playoffs. And even then, I'm not so sure. Crazy faceoffs. He straight up saved a goal. That was one of those find a way wins, because that was going to be tough to do if the Leafs lost. Like, everyone's going to be super upset that they've lost 6 straight. God, you look at that roster and you go, well, what are you supposed to do? I feel like if the Blues win that game and the Leafs lose, it tells you nothing about the Leafs, and
because they're not the Leafs.
And it doesn't tell you anything about the Blues either.
Right.
Like, they're desperate for points too. I don't think it tells you anything about them. I think the win tells you a little bit about the Leafs. Oh boy, I think it tells you a lot about the Blues.
Jesse, I'm curious for you. You were at the game.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it all live, and you talked to all the players afterwards. And I know that Joseph Woll spoke, Jake McCabe spoke, William Nylander spoke. When they were asked about Tavares, what did they say?
It's such a high praise for him, because everybody in that locker room knows that the only reason John Tavares is able to be that player is because of the work he puts in beforehand. And like everything you're talking about there, about him aging so gracefully and his game continuing. And last year, he's a 40 goal scorer. And that doesn't seem like it's dropping off anywhere. And that's because he is more dedicated to the off ice part of the game as like anybody in this league. We talk about the McKinnons of the world who will not eat a carb and are just like so hardcore about their lifestyle. John Tavares is in that same camp. He's the exact same, and he works as hard as anybody in the Leafs locker room. So when they see him take a 1-on-3 chance like that and win the game for them, they know it's because he's working hard off the ice.
And it's heart and soul, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing that we've been asking for from this team this year. What we keep saying, or what I kept saying, and now listen, we'll talk about the injuries in a second here, but when this team's healthy, I think they've got the talent to make the playoffs. I don't think anybody's denying that. But the problem,
4 points out of 4th.
Well, exactly. And beyond all that, and beyond the fact that it's early season, they've played bad a lot of times, Jesse, because they just show up and put in dog shit effort.
Yeah, that's the biggest complaint here. It's not about the talent or really like the coaching or anything anybody's done. It's just about the mental side of the game and putting in the efforts. And John Tavares is someone you could never say has not put in the effort. Matthew Nyes is in that same camp. Nick Robertson, for all of his faults, is in that same camp.
Man, he's a dog.
He's a dog. But John Tavares is the leader in that regard of just always mentally sharp and always knowing that you need to put in a full 60 effort in the NHL, else you're going to lose games that you shouldn't be losing. And I feel like that should go run through this team, and he's a heart and soul part of this team. He's not captain anymore, but he leads by example, and every young player on that team can look up to him, and the vets should follow suit with him as well.
The Leafs are playing the Columbus Blue Jackets on Thursday. I'm doing the stream for that. Shameless plug. By the way, we had so many people come in for that game last night. It was crazy. I couldn't believe how many people were watching our stream for a Blues Leafs Tuesday nighter. The Blue Jackets and Leafs, the Blue Jackets are 4th in the wild card race. The Leafs are 9th, but only 2 points separate them because it's the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. The Blue Jackets are not a whole heck of a lot different from the Leafs. They just have one more win. Can the Toronto Maple Leafs turn last night's game into something that you can build momentum on? That was a collection of guys. It was not the Toronto Maple Leafs. You had, what did you have on your tweet, Jesse? You had Tanev, Rafai, Stollers, Matthews, Lawton, and a few.
Waugh.
And Waugh. So it was like $36.5 million. Carlo. $36.5 million sitting on IR or LTIR. Can you turn that
in the press box? Better. Yeah, because like Nyes isn't on IR or anything like that.
Nyes couldn't play. Can you turn that into an identity game?
I think the vibes were so good last night, which is rare for the Leafs. They don't usually have good vibes games. But one thing, when Willie shot the puck into his own net, and that was the most inexplicable play I've seen in a long time. Like I had no idea what he could have been thinking in that moment to bat a puck out of midair directly back at his goaltender. Like what was supposed to be the end result there? But so he does that. And I think it was Steven Lorentz who was talking post game, and he said that after that happened on the bench, they were all kind of laughing about it, which is the best way you can take something like that. Like Willie is that guy who it's like he'll do that and that doesn't change his mood at all. He'll score a hat trick that probably won't even change his mood at all. So like he was the best guy for that to happen to. He apologized to Wall, and the bench kind of carried over those emotions where they were also very lighthearted about it. It wasn't like we're on a 5-game losing streak. We just batted the puck into our own net. Death is happening. It wasn't the Steve Dangle I'm melting down moment for the bench there. And I'm very happy to hear that, because that's not usually what we get out of the Crest. The Crest is usually they're all melting down. So I think they used that momentum. They fought back in the game. They won it in overtime. And then now against a Columbus opponent they should beat, you carry that. You know, this can be a momentum builder. We talked about that with the Oilers the other day, where their comeback victory hasn't turned into that for the Oilers. But like this here, use this momentum, carry it over, and keep those vibes. Like keep those good vibes.
William Nylander's goal, Steve, was perhaps a top 3 in his entire career in terms of just rock star shit.
In terms of what is he doing?
Yeah.
In terms of batting the puck into his own net?
Not that one. No.
No, I know what you're talking
as
about.
I keep saying. And
which goal, Adam? He scored 2 last
You're right.
night.
He scored.
I don't know if it would have counted. I don't even know if it would have counted if he did it on his own net.
No,
would
that
not
was a
have
high
counted.
stick.
That's so frustrating.
What's hilarious, and this happened last week too, is he directly led to 1 goal, and then the next shift, scored 1 for the Leafs. William Nylander giveth, and William Nylander taketh away, but usually it's in reverse. He giveth first, giveth to the other team. I want to know from you, Steve, when you think about William Nylander goals and the way he pointed at the crowd afterwards. The team, the fan base, everybody's frustrated, and yet it felt like he was like, yeah, we got this, we're cool. Do you believe it?
I mean, yeah, of course. And like there's still, you know, you definitely can't call it championship DNA because it's not that. But they won 52 damn games last year. And they've had turnover. I don't think they've had so much turnover that they should be a bottom 5 team in the league. I think that's insane. Wool's been pretty good for you. You did pretty well with injuries basically all through Dubas's tenure. You did pretty well last year. Different guys were stepping up. It's sometimes you just got to get your head out of your ass, right? And it's hard. It is hard. But it's almost like they were so bad they broke through a barrier where it's funny. Like that Nylander, like batting it into his own net. That's legitimately funny.
You know when you're having such a bad day, you start laughing about it? Instead of crying.
Yes.
You know, it just becomes funny. It's like, how are these things still happening to me? I just got to keep laughing through this.
I'd be crying right now if I had any moisture left in my body. Like, yes, I can resonate with that. Yeah.
One of the things that sort of has stuck out too, guys, and I'm trying to get through all this stuff before we lose Steve, is the Leafs defense.
You're holding up good.
Yeah, he's doing okay. He's doing okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Come on, Steve. You're fine. You're great. Is the fact that the Leafs defense is scoring. Morgan Riley, OEL, both factoring in last night again. And, you know, it's funny. It seems like they might have found a good defense partner for Morgan Riley in Oliver Ekman-Larsson, just based on the fact that nothing else has worked. And maybe it's because Carlo's been hurt or whatever else you want to say. The other guy I need to point out, and Craig Berube was asked about him in the press conference after the game, is Troy Stecher. When Stecher was on the ice, and we just picked him up on waivers, shot attempts were 10-6 in the Leafs' favor. Shots on goal were 6-4 in the Leafs' favor. Scoring chances were 5-2 in Leafs' favor. High danger scoring chances 3-0, and obviously he was on for a goal and none against. He is not the most efficient skater. He is undersized, but it shows you how bad the Leafs defense was at puck moving that he stood out so much. Troy Stecher. He's exactly
what the doctor ordered. You know, like there are more than however many players there are supposed to be in the NHL, there are more NHL players than that in the world.
Expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, Gare. There you go. Hanging out with Mr. Bettman.
Yep.
Oh boy, I'm fading, boys.
That's all right. Hang in there.
He's exactly what they need.
Not everyone is a fit for every team.
Mhm.
Like Myers was great last year. He's been awful this year. It wouldn't shock me in the slightest if the Leafs waived him or traded him or whatever. He went somewhere else and he was perfectly fine. You know, the Flyers earlier in his career thought he was a multi-million-dollar player. Then they're like, actually, you're like cannon fodder in a deal. So I'm not shocked at all that Stetcher, who plays exactly the way that the Leafs need him to, had a very good game.
Mm-hmm. The Leafs defense core, by the way, currently ranks second in the NHL with 46 points combined, which is hilarious.
Wow.
The McCabe got goal last night too.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Great goal.
Yeah.
Montreal.
B&I single.
Montreal is number 1. Boston is number 3. New York number 4, and Blackhawks number 5. All of those teams are playoff teams right now, except for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, lastly, I think some of this and some of the celebration needs to go to Joseph Woll because he was. He basically didn't have to work the first half of that game, but the Blues did come on strong, and that is worth mentioning in the last 30 minutes. Joseph Woll made some great saves. Having him back seems to have breathed a little bit of life into this team, even though they lost against Chicago. We came on here Monday and said, but they looked good. They looked better. They still can't.
No one wanted to hear it.
They still can't defend. Like, their passing lanes are still atrocious in the defensive zone. They allow way too many passing zones, and we saw that especially on the Blues power play last night. But Joseph Woll, when he sees it, he seems to be able to stop it, Jess.
Yeah, and then this is about the time when you volleyballed a set back to the guy who did not want Joseph Woll to play.
That's me.
This weekend, and needs to apologize and kiss it to the camera right now.
I will kiss it.
Yeah, you owe everybody an apology. Joseph Woll has been incredible since he's come back.
I said it last week. When I said it, I was like, I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. And damn it, I was wrong. And hell yeah. I got to remember, too, that the AHL is freaking weird when it comes to goalies. It's so weird. Yes. I don't know how to judge
everyone.
It is everyone. You're right, Steve, because there's guys who just light it up at the AHL level who come up here and you're like, what is happening? Joseph Woll has been sturdy. He knows where his posts are. And he seems to be just a jovial guy. Yeah. And I think the Leafs needed that.
I'd like him to stay in his net a little bit more. He did a little straying from his net to go handle the puck a couple times. Not the best puck handler, I would say.
He's been working on it, though.
Sure, working on it in practice.
Yeah.
But when he's in his net, phenomenal. Like, he's looked like the peak Joseph Woll we got all last year.
It's the puck handling is part of the reason, not all of it, obviously, but it's part of the reason he lost his job to Anthony Stolarz last year. And when Stolarz went down with an injury and Woll came in, obviously that's not Stolarz losing his job. That's, Woll coming in relief. I think the number one thing we noticed right away is like, oh, he can't play the puck like Big Tone, the other Big Tone on the Leafs. I did see a video today, just by pure coincidence, of Woll in a St. Louis Blues jersey, because he played on a youth team with Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, Logan Brown, Clayton Keller, and I happen to have a Blues jersey here from one of the heroes of overtime last night. Here.
What is it? What is it?
Oh! Hey!
One of the guys who John Tavares stripped. Philip Broberg.
There you go. For anybody listening,
there you go.
Yes.
It's a Philip Broberg winter. What is it called? Winter Classic?
I think it was the winter because the Chicago Blackhawks were involved. So.
Yeah.
I have the Bedard one.
Yeah. It's a good one. I don't hate that jersey at all.
Of all the guys you could have picked, you picked Phil Broberg, huh?
He was, when we were asked, he was so hot, and I'm like, him. And the next day he got injured. Okay.
Two guys. One, Jacob Quillen. The speed he brings to the lineup is not like he's not Connor McDavid, but him in comparison to the rest of the Leafs forwards, he looks like Connor McDavid.
For anybody that hasn't watched Leafs hockey, it feels like The Walking Dead when they come through the neutral zone.
Yes.
Like they are slow.
Yeah, nobody has speed through the neutral zone. And when you throw out Quillen out there, whose game is built on his speed factor, he looks great. And I feel like that injection into this lineup was fantastic for them last night.
But please, God, shoot the puck if you're one-on-one with the goal.
That pass where he had on that breakaway where he sent it right to the Blues defenseman. He's like, okay, tape to
He's
tape
on
to
a
the
breakaway and he passes?
Yeah, it was really bad, but maybe that's a little bit of nerves being the kid coming up from the AHL. You want to default to passing to your teammates.
Yes.
So I don't fault him on that one in particular, but like shoot the puck. And Troy Stetcher, to go back to him, I think he brings that kind of same factor of like, here's somebody who, like you said, is undersized, but he can move the puck and he plays with a little bit of speed. And in comparison to the other five guys out there, he looks like Cale Makar.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like Troy Stetcher is a good fit right now for the Leafs.
People like Edmonton Oilers Twitter are like, why are you guys so excited about Troy Stetcher? I'm like, you have not seen our team play.
Yeah.
So anyway, before Steve goes, this has been a week of weird injuries. Matthew Nyes obviously last night, blah, 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 before the game. I do want to at some point have a conversation about how the Leafs handle injuries, but we can save that for another time because it's weird to me that they sit guys for like minor things all the time, including in the playoffs. And Anthony Petrelli talked about it on Twitter yesterday. And, and then you're like, what is happening here? And they never have any timelines on anything. I think that's weird. I would like to get into that.
We can't talk about that?
We can't talk about that because Steve is dying.
Oh.
But I do want to say,
sorry.
I got problems with that.
When during a week where we can save it for Friday, where Jack Hughes is going to miss 8 weeks because of a hand injury where apparently he leaned on some glass. A2 Luster-Reinen is week to week after suffering burns in a barbecue accident. He will miss time. So listen, NHL players, you're rich enough to hire a chef. Don't do this. Don't do this to yourself, right?
Man, this is, I think, the worst injury bug I've seen go through the league in a long time. Like just the league.
Just weird,
Forget
right?
Any one team. I'm sure if you cheer for a team who's dying right now, you probably feel like it's just you. It's not. It's like half the teams in the league, man. It's brutal.
All right, Steve, we're going to let you go. Thank you for joining us. Really good first quarter you put in there. Really great. And don't worry, we'll handle the rest of it from here.
Love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
All right. Time for Ready, Set, Forward with Steve Dangle, Jesse Blake, and your host, Adam Wilde. Steve had to leave us because he's just not...
Yeah, for anybody listening, Steve's not here.
He's not here, but we will continue on. And listen, the Ford F-150 Tremor features so much that you can use outdoors. We'll get into that in a second, but let's talk about last night's Ready, Set, Forward performances of the night. Now, Jesse, who do you have? Who do you have?
I just want to shout out somebody who is continually underrated because of where he plays. The Leafs are playing this team on Thursday, so we're going to get a closer look at this individual here in Toronto because he's a Columbus Blue Jacket and they're coming to town. Zach Werenski. He scored his 400th career point last night. Nobody's going to mention it. It's going to go unnoticed. That's why I'm mentioning it here. He's got 16 points in 20 games. I think a lot of people forget that last season, he finished second in Norris Trophy voting. And if it wasn't for Cale Makar existing, he would have had a Norris Trophy. And I think year in and year out, he is a top 3 defenseman in this league. 400 points is nothing to laugh at as a defenseman. And he just deserves some respect for being one of the top defensemen in this game and never getting the respect he deserves because he plays on a Columbus team that can't seem to do anything in the standings.
Well, Bill Simmons, actually, did you see this quote? Bill Simmons on his podcast earlier, I think just came out today, said he called the Columbus Blue Jackets the most irrelevant franchise in North American pro sports.
Oh my goodness.
And he said, the quote is, I have never had a conversation with anybody about the Columbus Blue Jackets. And that's all that man does for Spotify is run an entire sports network. And he's never talked about the Blue Jackets.
And I get it. You know?
Well,
if you're not a hockey fan, like that's the last team you're ever going to talk about.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know. I think like people working this game, people listening to this right now, you hardcore hockey fans, recognize that Werenski is one of the best we got in terms of offensive defensemen. His defensive skills are top notch too.
Yes.
It's the reason he's second in Norris Trophy voting last year. 400 points. Congratulations on that. Hopefully he gets something special when he hits 500.
And thank you for carrying my fantasy team last year, Zach Werenski. I appreciate you. For me, I'm going to my fantasy team this year, and I'm also a little bit partial to an Alan Walsh client because we love Alan. Now, it's easy to pick Celebrini and Bedard after last night. And believe me, Bedard's on my fantasy team. I could have picked him too with that hat trick, but we're doing a full Bedard segment later.
Yeah.
I want to talk about J.J. Peterka. 2 goals, baby, for the Utah Mammoth. And here's the thing. The guy did it in 13:57 time on ice. J.J. Peterka doesn't need to play a lot to get you a lot. And it was a weird game against the San Jose Sharks. I get it. It was strange. And ultimately, San Jose won the game. But J.J. Peterka has injected some rock star into this lineup in Utah. And one of the things I think that, coming out of the Coyotes doldrums that Utah needed was this. They had players that were great. They had players that could be stars. But Peterka is one of those guys. He gets out of Buffalo. He's on a really exciting young group with a fan base that's really excited about this team. And if they are going to get to the playoffs, they're going to need more performances like this from him. I know that he went through a bit of a cold streak here the last couple of weeks, not quite at the level he'd want to be. But dude, J.J. Peterka, watch out. Goal 7 and goal 8. Go back and watch them. Spectacular.
All of that stuff is irrelevant if you can't tell me this. What does the JJ in JJ Peterka stand for?
That's Jason John Peterka to you, sir. Oh, it's not?
John Jason.
John Jason. I thought I had him. Oh, okay. All right.
You lose.
That's your ready, set, forward performance of the night. Steve, what'd you think of the segment? Oh, that's great, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Hey, and by the way, check out the Ford F-150 Tremor, purpose-built to navigate any environment from forest trails to deep desert sand to the Don Valley Parkway here in Toronto at its worst, especially during snow. I can tell you specifically, I own a Ford F-150. They're amazing. The Tremor is a level up from what I have. They're awesome. Check them out at ford.ca/F150. So we're aware that Brad Treliving did a press conference yesterday, but we're not going to, if Steve wasn't sick, we wouldn't have led Leafs today because there's other things going on. So we'll come back and we'll talk about the Brad Treliving press conference later for the hardcore Leaf fans here. Jesse was there, so we'll talk about that. But we got to talk about this. Macklin Celebrini, 19 years old. Connor Bedard, 20. Recording hat tricks on the same night on Tuesday. It marked the second day in NHL history to feature multiple hat tricks by players aged 20 or younger. This is crazy. And beyond that, there's a whole bunch of other amazing sort of stats, and the NHL had a really good one here, and I thought you guys would absolutely love this. With 30 points in 20 games, Macklin Celebrini joins Wayne Gretzky, Sidney Crosby, and Mario Lemieux as the 4th teenager to hit 30 points in 20 games or fewer. That is bonkers. This kid's a rock star. And my question, Jesse, is, when we started the season, there were a lot of people that said Celebrini gets off to a hot start. He's probably going to make the Olympic team. There were a lot of people that also said Bedard gets off to a hot start. We're still not sure because, he might need to be sheltered more. Maybe Celebrini's game's a little bit more complete. I can't imagine a world where Bedard at 29 points and Celebrini at 30 points through roughly 20 games each are not on this team.
But so you say that, who are you taking off? It's not just these kids are good, they need to be on the squad. It's you also need to remove somebody who is a very talented player in the NHL, probably has some Stanley Cup pedigree, whether if it's a Lightning like Sorelli, or whoever it is.
Is it Sam Bennett?
It can't be. It can't be Sam Bennett.
Here's my question.
Reigning Conn Smythe Trophy winner?
Let me give you Connor Bedard's last 10 games. 10 goals, 11 assists, 21 points, 2 hat tricks, 6-2-2 record for the Hawks. Okay? And they've got to make this decision by January 31st, right? Like that, or sorry, December 31st.
Yes.
So basically the last day of this year.
Yeah.
Sam Bennett, with the playoff run that he had, cannot not be on Team Canada.
There's no the points that Sam Bennett produces in the regular season are irrelevant.
Absolutely,
they don't matter.
We don't care.
Well, they don't matter.
You got to have Sidney. You got to have Connor.
Yeah.
And centers can play the wing. So I'm not glued to any of the wingers that they have. But you can't tell me that you don't want to see, like, wouldn't it be amazing? You know that Ninja Turtles meme with the the rat and the turtles are all small and then the rat gets old and the turtles get big.
And then the young ones are holding the old one. Yeah.
Why can't it be Sidney Crosby centering a line with Bedard and Celebrini?
because other humans exist, like Nathan McKinnon and Brad Marchand and Mitch Marner and Braden Point and Sam Reinhart and Mark Stone and Nick Suzuki and
so I'm
all
okay.
you want to keep going,
buddy? I'm okay if Mark Stone doesn't make it. I'm okay with that. I'm okay if Anthony Cirelli doesn't make it. I'm okay with that. I think you need that defensive sort of bastard center, and that's Sam Bennett, man. Mm-hmm. After that playoff run, I think he's on the team. Travis Konechny plays a role on the fourth line, right? It can't all just be firepower. I get that. I'm okay with having a long heart, like Braden Point's picked up his game.
Yep.
But is Braden Point playing as well as either of these guys?
There's no way you're leaving Braden Point.
Well, I think he's already been named to it.
Yeah, I think he's already on the team.
So here's the other question. Can you, and Brad's had a good season, but is Brad Marchand on the bubble?
Yes. No, Brad Marchand is not on the bubble. He is on the team. There's no way you're not bringing Brad Marchand. It's fun to say Celebrini should be on the team, Bedard should be on the team. Tell me you're going to tell Brad Marchand he's not going to be on the team, because that's not happening.
You need him there for the vibes anyway.
Yeah.
So McDavid, Crosby, Cirelli, Marchand, Stone, Hagel, McKinnon, Jarvis, Point, Marner, Reinhart, Konechny, and Bennett are the players from the Four Nations roster.
Yeah.
Now, I do know that they can bring a few more for the Olympics. Like, I don't think they're as strict.
I think it's 14 guys.
So
plus the injury replacements that can come. You got like an extra long list, right?
I am begging you to at least make sure that one of them's on the roster and one of them's an injury replacement. You've got to have them there. And we're not even sure if they're going to play in a full arena. Like Chris Johnson was saying that it's Wednesday, November 19th of this recording. Chris Johnson said on Insider Trading yesterday that arena is not done in Italy. And I know what you always say, Jesse, which is it'll get done.
It'll get done. They don't have any. You don't have a backup plan. They'll get it done. But like, I can see this Team Canada regime in Doug Armstrong and Kyle Dubas and all those big brains they got there, bringing a player like Tom Wilson over Connor Bedard.
Is that because Tom Wilson is the best power forward option in for Canadians right now?
Goal scoring isn't a problem for this team. The list of people you listed can score goals. You have McDavid, McKinnon.
McDavid
Crosby.
can't score.
Yes, he can. He can facilitate the goals. He'll be fine. It's about filling out the edges of the forward group to give you the best shot against an American team who you might have to grind against, So I don't know. I think a player like Tom Wilson can be very useful to this roster. I think for sure next man up after all of them should be Macklin Celebrini, I think ahead of Connor Bedard, because of what a player he is at this point is more useful to Team Canada. I'm not saying he's better than Bedard or will be in the future, but right now his skill set is more useful than Bedard's would be. So I think he's the next man up, but I think there's too many good Canadian players to just put him in marker on this team.
I agree. And I look at, if you do a cursory search of the stats from, the players and how they're doing this year, Sam Reinhart's got 16 points in 19 games. 10 of those are goals. But I think it's worth mentioning he's a -7 and people are going to look at that and whatever. You can't have this team without a guy like that. You can't have this team. I think you need a Travis Konechny. I think you need like a Bennett, Reinhart, Konechny. Reinhart can score a bunch. We know that. He had 57 goals 2 years ago. He had 39 last. But, he is... he was the runner-up for the Selke to Barkov.
Yeah.
Right? This is a guy that needs to be on there. I don't know. I'm so glad that they're making things so difficult for Team Canada. Seth Jarvis has also come up as...
That's a name we haven't even mentioned, Seth Jarvis. I think like Robert Thomas has probably played his way out of that conversation.
Yeah.
Like he's probably behind those guys. So like that's where I'm thinking Celebrini and Bedard slot in, right?
Can you, Jesse?
Yeah.
Seth Jarvis has 16 points in 19 games, and we know Seth Jarvis plays a grittier, grindier, plays in a defensive system under Rod Brindamore, so he does fill a role. But if you've already got Konechny Do you take Konechny or Jarvis?
I want Jarvis.
Okay. So you want Jarvis. You're going to keep Reinhart. You're going to have Bennett, right? That's your sort of shutdown. And also Sidney Crosby can play some defense too. I'm looking at, and Marner obviously is there, and he's spectacular with team defense. Great on the penalty kill, all that stuff. Can you really say, hey, Travis Konechny, we're going to take you over a guy that's got double the points?
I think even in a position like Konechny's,
he's got 14 points, Jess.
Konechny does?
Yeah. Celebrini and Bedard have 30 and 29.
I think because the pool is so deep, like you're debating Konechny and Celebrini, I'm thinking like Nick Suzuki's already ahead of all of those guys.
He does play a good defensive game too.
And that's so much more useful than what the other players provide. So if we want to include Mark Scheifele in that as well.
I don't think Mark Scheifele is going to be there.
There's a good case that his goal scoring will be very useful to them in a way that like Konechny's, what he provides wouldn't. But like I would have Celebrini ahead of Scheifele if we're getting to the Scheifele part of the list. I think that's
so too.
Fair, right?
And the thing is that Scheifele's he's an all offense guy.
Yeah.
That's my problem with it. Is that like you sit there and you go, okay, yes, we can deploy Mark Scheifele in offensive situations. Who on this team cannot be?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I listened to those Scheifele conversations, but I'm putting Bedard and Celebrini ahead of him. I'm probably putting Konechny behind Bedard and Celebrini, but I'm putting Suzuki and Cirelli ahead of Bedard and Celebrini. So like we're getting to the 12 there. Like we'll probably have to map this out at some point and build our official rosters because that'll be fun. We'll do that leading up to the December 31st date. But
might be a good Christmas episode.
Yeah, that would be fun. It might be out of date and they might just announce it and then we're all screwed. But I think like you have a solid 10 that you really can't debate. And then I'm leaning towards Jarvis and Suzuki and Cirelli ahead of the kids. Mm-hmm. But then the kids are right there. It's not like we're not going to reach January and somebody might go down with a high ankle sprain. Right. And then they're on the lineup. Right. So it's such a good problem to have. Like none of this is an issue.
Yeah, well, one thing that is an issue is injuries for both Team Canada and the United States. Now, Cirelli is day to day right now. Mark Stone is on the IR with a wrist, and I just think Mark Stone plays a tough game. He's a takeaway god, and I wasn't saying I would have him off the team for any other reason other than I don't know that his body's going to be ready to go. We'll see. Thomas Harley is week to week. Aiden Hill is on the IR, and Brandon Hagel has been in and out of the lineup. He's got an upper body thing going on, so there are some injuries there. I don't think Aiden Hill's going to be a goalie on this team. No. But I look at Team USA, and it kind of looks like a good chunk of their best players are just not doing well. So Jack Hughes, obviously, we already know about from the glass incident. But check this out. Obviously, Matthew Tkachuk on the IR with the Panthers until at least they're saying, December, January. Brady Tkachuk should be back in the next few weeks. We'll see how he plays. Charlie McAvoy's been in and out. He's currently out day to day. Jacob Slavin of the Carolina Hurricanes, lower body injury reserve. Thatcher Demko, who's never really fully healthy, week to week. And Joey Decord, who's been spectacular for the Kraken when he's healthy, upper body. And also Quinn Hughes is also struggling. So there's a Team USA in a healthy environment is stacked. Mm-hmm. Austin Matthews, I didn't even mention there. Okay. They're all going to be there, but they all might be at diminished health. So if, are you getting Matthew Tkachuk at full health? I think Brady will be at full health. Jack Hughes probably should be at full health. I don't know much about Thatcher Demko's injuries because they're numerous. Jacob Slavin, don't know much. Joey Decord, don't know much. Quinn Hughes has been fighting something. He missed 4 Nations last year, right? There is a road for Canada to win this thing if they don't get crushed by the USA's superior goaltender.
Yeah, that's the scary thing. It's Hellebuck Ottinger, right?
Do you lean offense?
Yeah, I think that's your best course of action. I don't think anybody, like, all respect to the top guys in the American team, I'm taking Crosby, McKinnon, McDavid over anybody. Like, that trio of the top stars on the Canada's forward group is better than anybody's in the world.
Yep.
So, like, I want that. ahead of any group or unit that any other team can deploy. But the Americans are so solid throughout their team, like they have such balance in that forward group. Plus they have the advantage in goaltending. But as we saw in the Four Nations final, there's no reason that Binnington can't look like Hellebuck or Ottinger when he has incredible defense in front of him. And it's not like they can't go to other options right now that
Logan
are playing,
Thompson,
that are playing
Darcy Kemper
really well too.
Yeah.
Like Logan Thompson will be on this team. They'll get their feelings aside, and Logan Thompson can play as well as anybody in this league right now. So
Yes.
I'm not too concerned about the goaltending or any of the what the USA can throw at Canada. I think Canada's going to be fine. They're going to have the better team on paper.
I'll tell you something. I know we have to talk about these things, but there's nothing as a person that talks about this for a living that is more boring to me than Olympic roster projections a year out. There is nothing that is more boring to me than Olympic roster projections even 6 months out, in the middle of the summer. I like knowing who's at camp.
Uh-huh.
They had the list of like 90 people. They did the jersey unveils for the men's and the women's team, and had them at a camp and, all socializing. None of them were on the ice at that time. But now it's juicy.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm excited. Now I want to talk about it all the time. And another guy I want to talk about with your favorite team, Jesse, Team Sweden, is one Leo Carlsson.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be so good.
Not only is he going to be on this team, but what's to stop him from being not just the leading scorer on this team, but maybe he might be their best option on the power play at number one center. And I know, and I say that reservedly. But this kid's on fire, and because he plays in Anaheim, I don't think people are really paying attention, and I want to give you some stats. So last year, 76 games, he had 45 points. Obviously, it's the Greg Cronin system of slow and boring, and there was a reason he was fired. But he had 20 goals, 25 assists. And I said 20 goals in 76 games. He's got 11 and 19 this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 26 points in 19. He's got 15 assists. He only had 25 all of last year. This kid's on fire in a way that, and by the way, his shooting percentage is crazy. It's 22%. Even if he's playing like a winger role in a top line, Leo Carlsson is going to be an issue. And I think a lot of people forget that at last year's Four Nations, Canada and Sweden had an identical record. The only thing that held Sweden out of the Four Nations final instead of Canada was that they lost to Canada in their first game in overtime. Had it gone the other way, it would have been USA-Sweden in that finals.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a team. I hate to call it a dark horse because it's Sweden and they're always good, but nobody's talking about them.
Yeah, looking at the projected forward group, it's Bratt, Carlson, Eklund, Joel Eriksson Ek, Philip Forsberg, William Karlsson, Adrian Kempe, Landeskog, Lindholm, Nylander, Elias Pettersson, Lucas Raymond, Fabian Zetterlund, and Mika Zibanejad. That's really good. That's really good 14 forwards, and like two of those guys got to get scratched.
Does that mean there's going to be 3 Karlssons on this team, by the way? Will Karlsson, Eric Karlsson, and who's the other Karlsson?
William?
Yeah, Leo Carlsson, William Karlsson, and Eric Karlsson.
Yeah, well, Leo's a C.
A C, I know.
The C Karlsson. Yeah. No, like the Sweden's going to be really good. Like, I think Sweden's got a chance of being the upset team, where it's like they steal one against the Americans or Canada, and all of a sudden we have a final with Sweden in it. Like, they got a real shot at collecting a medal here, because there's not a lot of holes in that group.
No, and I think that is something that we're all gearing up for, Canada versus the United States, and I get that. But I'm sure Team Canada Brain Trust has kind of looked at that Swedish roster and been like, we're going to have to be careful about that.
How do you feel about the goaltending? Gustafsson, Markstrom, and Ullmark.
Well, in any other year, I would have been like, that's a great 3. But especially Ullmark. Like, one of the things that really stood out for a lot of us who kind of pay attention to the rest of the league as much as we can is Ullmark's second day of camp saying he's had a terrible camp and he's bad and he's got to get better, and then having a weird start with Ottawa. I don't think he's been bad. He's just it's been weird.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been noted in the Ottawa media as well. I could see it from Ottawa fans online on Twitter. Ullmark is a couple years removed from a Vezina trophy, right? But a couple years is an eternity in the NHL. So, but then Gustafsson, I mean, they've struggled. The Minnesota Wild have struggled out of the gate.
Yeah, I think going into this, you'd think Philip Gustafsson is the starter, and I think he will be. I think they'll just end up going with that because of how strong last season was for him. He had that 914. There was a while where he looked like he could win the Vezina in late December last year when Kaprizov was healthy and the Wild were running. It was all because of Gustafsson and Kaprizov, and they were playing really good. And then that kind of trails off. And then this year, the team's off to a pretty poor start, and he's only an 897. Some of that's the team in front of him, but not as hot as you'd like it to be. So goaltending's not a sure thing for Sweden anymore.
No, it's not. And it's interesting because, obviously, you're playing against, you've got elite defense in front of you. You do. But you also have elite offenses coming at you. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious about how that evens itself out. I think Team Sweden is going to play a very fast game. It kind of lends itself. And what I'm curious about is a guy like Gustafsson, who plays on one of the NHL's slowest teams. Mm-hmm. They're not as slow as the Leafs and the Blues, but they're slow. Mm-hmm. How does that affect the way he sees the game?
Right. I think the defensemen in front of him are so talented. Like, Sweden has a great projected 8 that they're bringing in: Rasmus Andersson, Brodin, Dahlin, Ekholm, Forsling, Hedman, Carlson, and Lindholm. Oh. Like, it won't. It shouldn't be a problem for Gustafsson to stop pucks because those guys in front of him will make it easy for him. And like, to think 2 of those guys won't make the lineup is just hilarious. So it's gonna be difficult for teams to play Sweden.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking for a dark horse to maybe put a bet on, like, winning this whole thing, Sweden would be the next team up.
And I would have said, take the finish odds in any other year, but obviously with Barkov not being there, I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
Right? It just really puts you, that's their best player.
Yeah. I don't know if any team's got better 8 defensemen than that.
Then
if you're running on like the median of how good they are, and where there isn't a drop off, there's no drop off with those 8 guys.
There's a lot of Americans are going to be like, that is Jacob Slavin erasure. That's if he plays.
That's fair. That's fair.
But and Quinn Hughes too. But yeah, no, I'm very, very interested now in what these rosters are going to look like. And the crazy thing about this is week to week, this is going to change. We're going to be watching these trends and we should, right? Like, it needs to be, what have you done for me lately? I think about teams like the 2012 Los Angeles Kings, who could not score a goal until a deadline acquisition of Jeff Carter, and then they started scoring some goals, and they get in at 7th place out of 8, and they ride it all the way to the Cup final. Mm-hmm. I think that you have to, and they always talk about this, the hottest teams usually do win the Stanley Cup. Look at Florida last year. They had a third line that just snapped into place, Luosterainen and Marchand, whatever, and it was dominant and nobody had an answer. I think if you're a general manager of this team, you cannot pre-plan this. You have got to look at the season as a total, but also really look at the 6 weeks leading up to when you ultimately need to make that decision. Because to me, you got to have guys that are going. You can't go on history. And I'm speaking directly to Team Canada management. Please don't bring a bunch of olds because they were good before. We are banking on the now. And I don't think that's going to be a problem for Sweden. I don't think that's going to be a problem for Team USA. I think it might be a problem for Team Canada because Team Canada could rightly ice 2 Team Canadas and they'd both do great. BetMGM is an official sports betting partner of the National Hockey League. And though we love to talk about the live bets and whatever at the NHL, something's grinding Jesse's gears today. And it's not in the NHL.
Why are we always the underdogs? And I'm talking the Toronto Blue Jays. You go to BetMGM and you look at the odds for next year. Who's going to come out of the American League and be the representatives for them in the World Series?
The New York Yankees, Jesse.
Oh, of course. They're number 1 on the board.
Oh,
it's Yankees first. Second, the Mariners, who the Jays beat, as well as the Yankees. Then it's the Astros.
Did the Astros even make the playoffs?
No!
Did the Red Sox make the playoffs?
The Astros make the playoffs? No, I think they missed this year.
Okay.
The Red Sox, they did make the wild card and they lost to the Yankees and then the Blue Jays. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th place odds to make it back to the World Series. 11-1 is currently the bet. So like, take that money because it's only going to go down from there because they're going to win a bunch of games next year and be one of the best teams once again.
I'm surprised by the Blue Jays and Tigers being so low on this list because the Tigers are behind the Blue Jays, they both were basically, I mean, I know the Tigers fell off in September, but they were fighting all year for the best record in the AL.
Yeah, Tigers another good team, but I don't know. These odds makers, they believe in the Yankees and Mariners.
Well, we can't let them. Take advantage of the opportunity maybe with the BetMGM app. They've got brand new withdrawals, instant withdrawals, data insights, and brand new rewards hubs as well. Download the BetMGM app today and enjoy the NHL like never before. BetMGM.com, for terms and conditions. 18 plus to wager. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you have any questions or concerns about your gambling or somebody close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with iGaming Ontario.
Like, this conversation started with Bedard and Celebrini.
Yeah.
And can we spend a little time on the Bedard Celebrini stuff that actually happened in the NHL?
Yeah.
Because last night, the Bedard hat trick that happens before the game, they gave him the A to wear for that night because Foligno was out and their other assistant captain was out. So they need some guys to wear the A. And I like the fact that before the game, Jeff Blashill, who might be a good head coach, like, surprisingly, I don't think anybody thought that, but like, he's doing a great job.
I think the jury's still out, but okay.
I don't know. I think
not sure.
I love this from him because he made a big deal out of Connor Bedard getting the A. And in reality, it means so little. It doesn't change anything about the game that he got to wear an A. But they hyped it up to the point where they made it into a thing and they gave this to the kid and they say, you have earned this. And he had a quote pregame talking about how he doesn't want to give anybody on this team anything unless he feels like they have earned it. And he made the A into a big thing that Bedard has earned for his start in this season and the leadership role he's taken on and off the ice. And doing that, he put this pressure on the kid, and that same game, he has the hat trick. And all of a sudden, something that is relatively meaningless becomes a huge deal. And that A carries weight, and he stepped up wearing the A, and all of a sudden, he has this historic night where he puts on the A, and he has a hat trick. So I love what Blashill's doing with the young kids in Chicago. And I think they seriously have, I don't think they're going to be trending downwards. I don't think it's one of those hot starts where it's like all of a sudden it falls off, because we do see this early. Connor McDavid's Art Ross Trophy year was in the second year of his career. Same with Crosby. Malkin's was the third year of his career. When these really great players, I'm not going to call him an all-time great.
I think Matthews Hart was in his third or fourth year.
Yeah, like this is kind of when the really great superstars start peaking. Yeah. It doesn't happen like in basketball. It kind of happens when they're like 28 and then you kind of win your championship around like 27-ish, or maybe it's like 24, 25. But with these kids in the NHL who are really good at putting up points, we usually see it in their early 20s. And Bedard this year is clearly taking another step, and it's just taken a couple years. And this is just going to be who Bedard's is now. Like, I'm willing to take the bet that year in and year out now he's challenging for the Art Ross Trophy, because when it happens this young, it stays consistent.
Well, and I wonder about their general manager, because they really
Kyle Davidson.
Kyle Davidson. I don't know how much Kyle Davidson slept last year, but I do feel like if they hadn't got out to the start that they're having right now, we're having conversations about this guy's an abject failure as a general manager, and, you know, can't get anything right. And how many more years are we going to do this, right? And the NHL needs Chicago. We know that. They're in every outdoor event, and they've been so bad. And they got rid of their superstars, and it was nobody. Who could you hang your hat on? Bedard. But you remember that picture of Bedard in the penalty box last year, looking depressed?
Yeah.
Like, that was Chicago's last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And for them to pop, and for him to pop at this time, I feel like Kyle Davidson can finally sleep a full night. And I'm looking at the guys that are coming on. So Alex Vlasic gets an invite to Team USA camp. He's not going to make the team, but he's a defenseman that I've identified for the future, right? Frank Nazar, who's had a really good start. They make a really interesting and, turns out, prescient bet on Spencer Knight. Not only they trade Seth Jones for him at the deadline, and Spencer Knight's always been a good goalie prospect, but, you know, behind Bobrovsky, whatever, you know, you're never sure. And they sign him to an extension before he's played a full season.
And I think that's the best move of Davidson's career so far. Like at Spencer Knight this season, his play has changed the franchise as a whole. How good he has been, and acquiring him from Florida is the best thing he's done for this franchise.
No question.
Yeah. Outside of like, hey, I got the number 1 pick. Those lottery balls fall in my lap, and I've taken Bedard. Outside of that, it's Spencer Knight.
I mean, he played 50. So I'm just looking this up. He played 23 games with the Panthers last year at a 907 save percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Chicago. Chicago's bad. And his save percentage in those 15 games that he plays for them falls to an 896. You don't know what you're going to get from a guy like that. You're expecting something good, but 924 in 13 to start the season, I don't expect it to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
But for $6.8 million, that's unbelievable. That's an incredible start. And I feel like the Blackhawks have finally found a really good mixture of veteran talent and young players. And what's interesting is when you look at the way the Blackhawks are kind of structured, it's Bedard at the top doing a lot of the scoring, and then a bunch of veteran guys all in and around the same area. So
just to correct you quickly before I do that, 5.83.
Oh, 5.83. Why did I say 6.8?
I don't know. Is Knight's next contract. And currently this year, he's making 4.5 because he's still on the last.
Great.
Yeah.
It's a killer year. It doesn't even start this year.
Yeah.
So Bedard's got 29 points in 19 games.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is formerly Tyler Bertuzzi with 15. Burakovsky's got 15. Nazar's got 13. Teravainen's got 13. Donato's got 12. And, and then you get into like Levshinov and that sort of thing at 10. That is great scoring throughout the lineup for a relatively young team. And, they've got guys in the minors that are going to come in and augment this as it goes on. Like, it's not like they've exhausted their system at all. I'm excited for the Chicago Blackhawks. And I want to say this, obviously we've got a bit of an affinity for the San Jose Sharks. I feel like this is the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And you did the Vlasic's backwards?
Oh, I did the Vlasic
because Mark-Edward Vlasic plays for the Sharks. Alex Vlasic is the one on the Blackhawks.
Yeah, that's the one I said, isn't it? Did I not say that?
Oh, I thought you meant Mark-Edward Vlasic got the invite to.
No, it was I said Alex Vlasic.
Okay.
I think.
just so we are.
Listen, don't put it past me. Don't put it past me.
I misheard. That's my bad.
When we look at San Jose, kind of the same. But what's interesting is there are players on this team that are surprising, and Celebrini's getting a lot of the a lot. So we interviewed William Eklund when we were in San Jose in spring, and William Eklund's cool, like a really nice guy. Guy's got 13 points in 16 games. Will Smith, who is going to be Robin to Celebrini's Batman for the entire time that those two play together, 19 points in 20 games. This is a team that they were worried could not score. Kurashev, 11 and 18. Tyler Toffoli, who's on the higher end of the age curve, 11 points in 20 games. And they are getting goaltending, actual goaltending. Both of their goalies, San Jose, both of their goalies is over a 900 save percentage, Jess.
I want to bring up what Macklin Celebrini was talking about his post-game last night.
Okay.
Because you're mentioning all the guys, you mentioned the goaltending, but Ryan Reeves, the name you didn't mention there, might be the most important guy because of simply the vibes.
Okay, give it to me.
So they've been doing this thing every time they win. Like every team's got their thing now. They have the belt, or they remember there's the hardwood. Who was the team? Was it Minnesota who had the hardwood last year whenever they win?
Yes.
And this year, the San Jose Sharks have been doing any object. So they've just been picking up random objects and being like, this is whoever gets the player of the game gets this spray bottle or gets this roll of tape, because the thing they were waiting for hadn't arrived yet in San Jose. They'd ordered it and it wasn't there for the start of the season. And finally they got it. And it's this ring that has a bunch of shark teeth on it. And Macklin Celebrini with his hat trick got the ring with a bunch of shark teeth on it, and he came out tarps off, shirtless, with it around his neck, and it hung down to his waist. And this is what he had.
The man has no chest hair.
Oh, he's a child.
I haven't looked like that since I was 10.
He might be 10. So this is what he had to say.
Explain the neck ringer.
Yeah, Brevo told me we're starting a new tradition with our team. Shirts off, and you have to wear the necklace because you got it for the game player. So, I think
incredible.
I thought it was a good idea, so we're starting a tradition.
Is this
the game player. Like, he's so uncomfortable. He doesn't even want to say it. But I don't know. Is it weird to say, like, Ryan Reeves going in that locker room is the ultimate good vibes guy for a bunch of children who are learning to be in the NHL? His injection of everything he brings off the ice must have been spectacular for San Jose. We know how fun it is down there to have a fun guy in a fun environment. That's got to lead to a lot of this winning. And we also got to touch on Naskarov as you were trying to.
Well, let's talk about the fun vibes there, because when we were down there, one of the things that they have so their practice facilities at a place called Tech CU, and it's a community rink. What's so nuts about Tech CU is that the Barracuda have a brand new stadium there. It's awesome. That's where a lot of the practicing happens. And just some of the names that we saw walking around the rink. Boyle, Thornton, Nabokov, who's a coach, Mike Ricci, who was yelling obscenities at us while we were doing our show. And apparently Mike Ricci has been driving the same pickup since he played in San Jose in the 90s. Like, he's just that kind of a guy. These guys are surrounded. I think Marlowe makes multiple appearances there every year. They're surrounded by not just the usual sort of business, and Ryan Reeves was talking about how the Leafs feel a bit corporate, and they do.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by guys who have been to the Stanley Cup Finals, the quote unquote glory years of the Sharks. And I know they haven't won a cup, but they had an amazing team for about 15 years there, and just an unbelievable run in the Thornton and Marlowe years. And when you have those guys and those characters, and you've got this young team, they can sort of shelter and help just by osmosis, teach these guys what it's got to be. Yes, there is time to focus, but there's also time to laugh a little bit, because you need to let off some steam. Jesse, you mentioned earlier in the show when William Nylander knocks the puck into the net for the first goal last night, the Leafs bench doesn't crumble and go, "Oh crap, way to go, Willie. Oh, we're screwed, man. Maybe this team is bad." They laugh about it.
They thought it was funny.
There are times when it's gonna suck to show up to the rink in the NHL. Your fans are on you. Your agent's calling you because the general manager's pissed off. Maybe the coach has benched you, whatever it is. And these guys have players like Toffoli, who is like team dad, and Ryan Reeves, who seems like team fun uncle, and all of these other extended family members.
Fun uncle.
Yeah.
Team Funcle.
Team Funcle. All these extended, extended family around them that is going to be able to protect them. I think it's I think what they're building there, and we came back from San Jose blown away. And I mean that, genuinely blown away. I think that watching them pop as well this year is fun. And I don't know if they make the playoffs. Chicago, I think, might have a better shot.
Chicago looks good. I don't know if they can sustain this. We'll see, because I definitely didn't have them in this position. I had them, again, being one of the bottom feeders of the league, and they are definitely not that right now. And you're talking about Tech CU there. You're underselling how amazing Tech CU is, their practice facility. They have so many. They have a lot of rinks in there, and all of them overlook bars.
Yeah.
They have. Yeah. It's an entire complex. And I don't know, throw up that picture of Celebrini again. How do you look at that and not try and win? Because the Florida Panthers have made this a narrative with the way they've won the cups the last couple of years. They always talk about how good friends they are and how they are winning on the power of friendship and Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Brad Marchand's here. We're all going to run down to Dairy Queen and get a blizzard together and then go kick some ass on the ice. And the San Jose Sharks, they might have that same thing off the ice, where we're all buddies and we're just going to ride the good vibes of the palm trees of San Jose into a playoff berth. So if Celebrini is actually this good, right now this season, he continues it all year long, and then he has guys like Will Smith around him, there's no reason they can't be in the fight for that 6, 7, 8 spot and somewhere in the bottom of the wild card.
Yeah, I mean, currently they're 2 points out. Chicago's got the wild card spot right now, but as we know, this early in the season, you're a win or two away from being at the top of the division. So, unless you're in the Central, where the Avalanche are already running away with it, but ultimately they're not that far out. And the Sharks have 1 point less than the Edmonton Oilers currently. I feel and also have played one less game than the Edmonton Oilers. I think if you had told San Jose fans and management before the season started, hey, first 20 games, you're basically going to match the Oilers' point pace. They'd have taken that.
But if you had told that to Edmonton Oilers fans, they'd be like, whoa, we're ahead of where we were last year. Because I think that is factually true in that they have one more point than they had 21 games in last year. I think they were 21 for 21 last year. And this year, they have 22 points in 21. This is how the Oilers start.
Yep.
And nobody should be shocked, but like, stop doing this.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to go on a crazy run from December through April and then into June in the Stanley Cup final. But like, start a little better.
Are
Oilers. I think so.
Are they?
Yeah. They'll be fine.
We'll see. Okay, well, I would have questioned it last year too, and it's silly for me. Blackhawks 6-2-2 in their last 10. Sharks 7-2-1.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And
Unbelievable.
by the way, Oilers 4-4-2. If we're putting that in there now,
and your Ducks. Where are
well,
they?
Listen, let's
Where
not.
are they?
I don't want to brag.
Oh, top of the Pacific Division.
We don't need to talk. Let's just let
Unreal comeback victory against the Utah Mammoth on Tuesday. What was that?
Right.
Yesterday or day before? They're good.
They are good.
The Ducks, Sharks, and Blackhawks being good.
California, man.
What is happening?
It's coming back. Scary. Movember, the SDPN team. Listen, I got chirped because I put up a selfie yesterday and somebody said it's midway through November and that's the best you can do.
I think your mustache looks pretty good. Your handlebars.
I felt like,
yeah, what the hell? No, don't listen to the haters, Adam. They're just jealous that they can't grow a stash like you.
Now, Jesse, you shaved before the month started. Look at you.
Yeah, I shaved like day before, a couple days before November started.
Now that's
I got a full beard here.
That's a beard. Now you're going to be shaving that into your mustache.
I'm excited because on the day before the end of November, I'm going to shave it into so little mutton chops and everything.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's going to be fun. I couldn't live with it for the month. It needs to be trimmed into it, but I'll get there.
And what's great about this is obviously we're donating to Movember, and we're asking for your help on this one because we want to change the face of men's mental and physical health. Remember, this started in 2003. It's grown into a global phenomenon, and we're doing the mustache thing because, and these are crazy. The prostate cancer stats, the testicular cancer stats, and the mental health and suicide prevention stats are nuts.
And dude bros are so afraid to talk to each other.
Yeah,
and like I love that this is going to such a good cause for the mental health side of it in particular, because like I said, like guys don't like talking about their things, and this money's going towards them opening up and like being comfortable and getting help for people who are going through mental health struggles and might not feel comfortable talking about it.
1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. Early detection is critical. Testicular cancer. Most Canadian young men, 75%, do not know that testicular cancer is the most common cancer with men aged 15 to 44. I can remember specifically like Phil Kessel was a guy that had that. And he was 19. It's just one of those things. And the other thing is in Canada, more than 75% of deaths by suicide are completed by men and boys. More than 75%. So when you're donating money to Movember, remember, this is going to causes that help spread awareness when it comes to cancers, encourages people to go after and educates them on early prevention. And obviously with mental health, that's an ongoing struggle that we all struggle with. So the link to donate is in the description of this episode. You can check it out right now. Any donation that you can spare. We know the economy's tough. We appreciate it, and thanks so much. I want to talk about Patrick Waugh. I want to talk about Mikko Rantanen, and I want to talk about this hit. And I've got the screen grabs for you. I'm going to send them over. Just for anybody that has not heard this story, Patrick Waugh promised Mikko Rantanen that he will not finish the next game the next time the Islanders and Stars play. And there are certain games throughout the season where, hockey is a very, when it comes to the regular season, is a very local sport. And what I mean by that is, when you watch the NFL, you're watching your team, but you're also paying attention to the other teams that are playing, because that's just how the NHL or the NFL is built. And really, there's 3 game nights a week. And 2 of those game nights, there's only a couple of teams playing. So it's easier to do. In hockey, in baseball, in basketball, during the regular season, it's a lot more localized. You're paying attention to your team. There's like a billion games. You're probably paying attention to who's at the top of the scoring race and whatever the topics of the day are. But you're not really grabbing every single bit from every single team. It's just hard to do. This one, I don't care what fan base you consider yourself a part of, or if you're a journalist and you're claiming that you don't cheer for a team, which I don't believe any of you. The Islanders and the Dallas Stars, the next time they play, because of this hit, it is Mikko Rantanen on Alex Romanov, and this is a hit that has no supplemental discipline today, that happened towards the end of the game yesterday. So, whatever penalty Mikko Rantanen took.
5 in a game.
5 in a game, but it worked out to be like a minor because there was so few minutes left. Didn't matter. The NHL looked at this hit, and it's this is why they got rid of icing, like the race for the puck in icing, because people used to get killed. You used to have to race and touch the puck for icing, and people used to get absolutely murdered, and they had to stop.
Mm-hmm. People might not realize this, but the icing rule now is actually the face-off dots. It's who's ahead at the face-off dots is when the referee's allowed to call it. It's not even like that end red line.
No.
Yeah.
Because it's too dangerous.
It's way too dangerous.
The guys got too fast. They got too big. And why are we taking star players out on a dumb icing play, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what this reminds me of, though. Like 90s icings. And Rantanen and Romanov, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen the play yet, I encourage you to look it up. But I want you to imagine that the Islanders goalie is out of his net trying to play the puck, and then he's backing off. Romanov is facing the board. Rantanen is right on his numbers. Like his face is plastered to Romanov's back. And at the red line, Rantanen, who is skating very fast, gives Romanov a bump, and he falls. And I'm talking about the red line at the net, not the red line in the center of the ice. Romanov basically has to peel his teeth out of the boards. He hits the green part of the Dallas boards hard. And a lot of people looked at this and thought, there's got to be a suspension for this one. This is a very dangerous boarding call. The NHL looked at it and said, well, there's no speed limit in the NHL. Mm-hmm. He did get kicked out, which we sort of consider as they always talk about this weirdly, like it's a full game suspension.
Yeah, getting a game misconduct in the NHL books is like you got suspended 1 game.
So even though you never got docked pay, which is that's why it's such a bullshit.
And for describing the play, Rantanen does get tripped a little from behind.
From Mayfield,
yeah.
Right? So Jesse,
the skates they do touch here.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So what do you make of this play? Because Patrick Waugh was hot after this game. He was pissed.
Do you want to play the reactions from Rantanen and Waugh?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll bring up their post-game reactions before we weigh in it on ourselves. Here is Mikko Rantanen's perspective on the play that happened.
Obviously, never meant to do that. Never done that all my career. Play hard, but never tried to be dirty on purpose. So I think get clipped a little bit and then keep falling forward. But yeah, unfortunate moment, but never really meant to do it. But hopefully he's not too bad.
So those are Rantanen's comments, and then Patrick Waugh post game said this, courtesy of the New York Islanders.
Well, I mean, I hope he's going to be okay. At this moment, I don't know what's exactly what it is, but all I'm going to say is when you see the number, you have to lay off. Everybody knows that. I mean, you don't go through the guy. I mean, and I'm proud of the way that our guys handle it afterwards. No one was happy to see someone get hurt like this, and like I said, to me is disrespectful for our guy.
Is that sort of what you were saying to me as he skated by?
Yeah. It was in Colorado when he was drafted there, and it's not his style. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, that should not be part of our game. That should not be part of our game.
And I know.
I laugh a little at his focus being on, I'm so happy that my team went and beat up the other team. It's like, we don't take that. I'm so happy that they went and smashed some faces.
Yeah.
Like, that's so Patrick Waugh. And then the last piece of the puzzle before I guess you and I weigh in on it is the yelling back and forth. Patrick Waugh yelling at Mikko Rantanen as he's being kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
And do you have the quote that he said to?
I can pull it.
He said to Rantanen, "You're not going to finish the game."
Yes.
That is the quote there. There's a screen grab here.
Yeah, he said, "You won't finish the game at home. Why won't you come and talk in New York? You're not going to finish that effing game."
Yeah. So here's the screen grab of him yelling those words to Rantanen from the bench as Rantanen's exiting the building. It's an unbelievable scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
And the Islanders did win, by the way.
Yeah. They came away with the victory here. And I think there's a couple different paths, I think, that we need to touch on, because I don't think it's right for a coach to do that to a player. I don't think you should have a coach behind the bench yelling obscenities and threatening a player, retribution to a player, especially a star player as he exits the game. That to me crossed a line. I think Mikko Rantanen being tripped from behind isn't taken into enough account here. And I feel like the NHL saw his foot slipping. And when you're going that fast, I think it's hard to stop on a dime. We might be asking Mikko Rantanen to do something that's impossible. But third, you need some punishment, because even though something happens and it's not intentional, you still are responsible for that. Mm-hmm. It's like the same way you are responsible for your stick, even though you don't have an intentional action with your stick.
Right. If your stick hits somebody accidentally in the face, you're still going to the box.
Exactly. Or you could still be suspended. You know, if you were swinging a baseball bat as hard as you can at the air and you cut somebody's head off, you'd be responsible for your stick in that action, even though you weren't intentionally trying to injure a player.
So let me ask you this, just to be clear on
That's very complicated.
Yeah. Are you advocating for a Mikko Rantanen suspension on this play?
I think it should have been one
or
game.
A fine. You think it should have been a game?
Or I'd say give him one game. A solo game, just so everybody knows we don't want this happening. Mm-hmm. You know, like, this is an accident. We understand that, but put some onus on the players there, even though, like, I'll acknowledge again, it's kind of both sides of my mouth here, that it might have been impossible for him in that moment to stop. We only know Mikko Rantanen is the only person who can know that. But you need to just say, even if this was accidental, we can't have guys pressing their arms against other guys' numbers and shoving them into the board. That's too far.
Right.
And even if you didn't mean to do it, the action on visuals is something that's not allowed in our game. Give him one game is where I land on it. So I'm not saying Mikko Rantanen is a dirty player, is what I think I'd emphasize with the suspension. Even though it's not on purpose, you deserve a game, because you can't put that forearm at the back of a jersey and have a guy take teeth into the boards there.
Right. And I think that's the part of it. Like, you are responsible for those things. And I look at most plays in the NHL, Jess, and I'm like, listen, most plays are somewhat refutable. It's rare that you get, in all honesty, it's rare that you get, you know, a Matt Cook style, this guy's just straight up evil, right? Like, there are certain guys, it's part of their game. Like, I can remember when Tom Wilson was younger, he absolutely blew Oscar Sundqvist's head off. And I think it was either early season or preseason. And he got suspended for it. And, you know, there were Caps fans out there who could say, well, like, he didn't mean this, or he was doing that, or whatever. And everybody else in the league was like, okay, granted, sure. Mm-hmm. I don't think Tom Wilson set out to concuss Oscar Sundqvist. I know Jamie Benn sets out to injure people. I know that. I know Zdeno Chara set out to injure people.
Yeah.
I know that
Ryan Hartman.
Ryan Hartman is psychotic.
Yeah.
He's a crazy person.
That's a bad guy on the ice.
Bad guy on the ice.
Yeah. Last year when Ryan Reeves hit Darnell Nurse, do you remember that check? And Darnell Nurse got a concussion. He was out, and Ryan Reeves got suspended for that. I don't believe Ryan Reeves was trying to knock off Darnell Nurse's head.
No.
It's just the position he found himself in when he was going to lay that body check happened to be an incredibly dangerous hit. It wasn't the intent, but he still did it.
Yes.
So I think that's where you fall with a lot of these plays in the NHL.
And my question is always this: are we judging intent, or are we judging outcome? Mm-hmm. Because intent is up to interpretation. What's not is the outcome.
Yes.
And I just feel like it's such an important distinction to make. These things happen, at a speed, like everybody who listens to this has probably been on skates. Maybe you haven't. If you've played hockey at any level, even house league, it's fast to you. You can't fathom how fast it is to these guys. You have no idea unless you've played. You have no idea. I don't. Jesse doesn't. Steve doesn't. None of us do. Unless you played. Maddie, maybe.
Maddie's faster than Rantanen.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Maddie's not only faster, she's meaner than Rantanen.
Yes.
But
she'll take your head off.
But when we start to get into intent, which is usually where it devolves to online. Well, he didn't mean, or I'm sorry, if I'm driving the car, I'm responsible for what happens when I'm driving. And so, again, I don't want to be one of those shows like, well, I don't care if friggin' people are always like, well, you're soft, you're not used to it. I don't give a shit, man. I played hockey for 12 years. I understand the game just fine, thank you. It's one of those things where if the NHL wants to have a standard and they don't, then you've got to look at this scenario and go, that can't happen. Patrick Waugh is absolutely right. Now, is Patrick Waugh liable for a suspension for yelling at a player?
I think you can fine him.
I think you can fine him for that. Listen, John Cooper got fined for dressing a bunch of goons in the preseason. Patrick Waugh literally threatening a guy.
Yeah.
That's what that is. As great entertainment theater as it is, don't suspend him. Fine him. And then the next time the Islanders and Stars play, that's going to be a fun game. I like the theater.
As long as it stays within the realm of hockey.
Yes. And I'm not looking at Jesse. I don't look at this and I'm like, oh man, if Rantanen misses a game and Waugh gets a $10,000 fine, it's not going to stop what's going to happen the next time the Islanders and Stars play. None of that changes. None of it. But I do think as a league, to be taken seriously as an organization, you do need to have some sort of control on that. It doesn't mean Patrick Waugh is not going to be emotional, and it doesn't mean Mikko Rantanen's not going to skate fast.
Totally.
So I just that is the distinction I want to make. We need to get back to what is the outcome here.
Yeah.
I don't care what he meant to do. What happened?
Yeah. I look at it and I say, that's a game suspension for what he did there. I look at it in slow motion and I say, yeah, he probably couldn't stop and couldn't mean it, but it's a game because that's a bad look.
Yeah. And Patrick Waugh, man, I know it's hard not to be a player, but you're not.
Yeah, that to me, like it's so bad. I think the NHL should be doing something specific there to take that out of the game.
Yeah.
Like that's something I don't consider. Like the Mikko Rantanen thing, that's going to happen again. Coaches yelling at a player that he's going to get retribution as the guy is leaving the building. That's a line that's crossed for me.
What blows me away about the NHL is to back your point, Jess, is the worse your reputation is, the more leniency you get.
Yeah.
And listen, the big bad Bruins, the big bad Panthers, the Kings were sort of like this. There are players that develop a reputation, and Patrick was one of them as a player, Stanley Cup winner, Hall of Famer, all those things.
But hothead.
And they're like, well, it's Patrick Waugh.
Exactly.
If Sheldon Keefe did that,
and 20 games.
Sheldon Keefe would be purple.
Immediately.
If John Cooper chased the Panthers, in that preseason game down the hallway and said, whoever was playing for them, after what you did to Hagel, let's say Aaron Ekblad, you're not finishing the next game. I think the Lightning got fined $100,000 or something like that. It would have been John Cooper directly fined $100,000.
I'll give you this one. What if it was a coach saying that to a referee? What if Sheldon Keefe was yelling at a ref and saying, I'm going to get you back next game because our players are going to commit so many penalties. Maybe you'll get accidentally tripped or something like that and you'll be on your ass. Then the league would kick him out of the league forever because they want to protect the referees.
You'd get Calgary flamed. Dennis Weidman.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think there should have been a fine to Waugh for that one.
I think so too.
I think that's a little ridiculous.
I think you can't have that.
You don't play. Like you're not
play.
One of the guys on the ice. You can't be chirping at dudes on the other team.
Hey, it's that time of year where we're thinking gifts. And the one thing about Christmas, Maddie, ISO me just real quick. You see? It's all about sentimentality. What I love about Aura frames, Jesse, and
for anybody listening, Adam's holding one.
I'm holding an Aura frame. I'm sure you could feel the aura.
I don't know.
Listen,
Probably.
I'm Aura farming. The thing about it is that what's cool about this is you can leave this in your parents' house like that, right? And when new pictures come in, when new videos come in, when live pictures come in, you can upload it to the Aura frame remotely. And so that they could see new pictures of the great. Oh, you never send us new pictures of your kids. Well, you can. And what's cool is that, like, let's say you're having a party, you're having people over, you can like theme the pictures to who's coming over. That's kind of a cool idea, right?
You know what I really like? The fact that this is a tech company does this, right? Because there's a lot of technology in this frame. They didn't mess up the look of the frame.
No,
they just built a very sleek picture frame.
Look,
and it's not all like chunky and ugly with like a giant back or looks really futuristic or anything. It just looks like an average picture frame, which is what I was looking for. And they didn't mess that up. It looks really good.
Unlimited free photos and video. You can preload photos before it ships. So when it shows up at someone's house, if you're not there, that's okay. The photos, as soon as they plug it in, it'll work. You can personalize the gift and add a message before it arrives. Share photos and videos effortlessly. And for a limited time, visit auraframes.com and get $45 off Aura's best-selling Carver Mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter. That's the New York Times, by using the promo code SDB at checkout. Again, it's Aura, A-U-R-A frames. I know everybody in Gen Z is going to be able to spell that anyway, but Aura, A-U-R-A frames.com, promo code SDP. The exclusive Black Friday Cyber Monday deal is the best of the year. So order now before it ends. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. There's another one I want to talk about. There's some tape I want to go over here, Jess. Now, let's talk about the New York Rangers. And the last time we talked about the New York Rangers, they hadn't won at home.
I'm going to leave for this segment.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
It'll just be you.
The last time we talked about the New York Rangers, they were like 7-1-0 on the road, and they were like 0-6-1 at home. Their home record is their away record is now 9-2-1. That's amazing. That's one of the best away records, if not the best, in the NHL this season. And I'm just doing a cursory scan here. Yeah, the Rangers have the best road record in the NHL this season. Their home record is the worst home record in the NHL. They are 1-7-1. And I said to Steve and to Jesse, when we brought this up the last time, which would have been probably beginning of last week, I was like, guys, does that not feel like a team poised to break out? Because there's no way that home record lasts. There's no way this continues. They're, at that time, they were near the bottom of the league in goals allowed, near the top of the league, I guess. Like, they hadn't let a lot of goals in. They're still in and around that area. There's still some teams, the Chicago Blackhawks have still let in less than 50 goals. The Avalanche have let in less than 50 goals. But the New York Rangers are right around 52, which puts them in the top 10 in the league. That's great. They can't score. And their big thing before the season started were these weird t-shirts that they were wearing. JT Miller's the new captain. We got a new sheriff in town. Big attitude. Like, let's go. And what did the shirt say, Jess?
No BS.
And the reason I bring up JT Miller, and the reason I bring up these shirts, and the reason I bring up goals against is this play right here. The New York Rangers need more from their captain. And I think that what's interesting is that New York Rangers fans know it. This is against Vegas last night. By the way, from our Tim Haraney from our F1 show was there.
No way.
Yeah, he was there.
At this game?
He was at this game. He had never seen a Vegas game live. And I know you have, Jess.
I have. Best building atmosphere I've ever been in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
In terms of the in-game arena entertainment, they do it the best.
So JT Miller is, and I'm going to try to do this for our audio listeners as well. This is in the Rangers zone. The puck has been cleared from behind the Rangers net around the left boards. And JT Miller, number 8, new captain, is basically running support for one of his line mates at the left side face-off dot. But the puck is along the boards. And I want you to watch what happens when Vegas is able to grab this puck and turn it over, because they will create a turnover. I want you specifically, Jesse, to describe for me what happens to JT Miller's knees.
And for context, it's 16:44 in the second period. Vegas is up 1-0. So Vegas is getting the puck. That's Thomas Hertl who digs the puck out of the corner. JT Miller watches. I think
floats right by it.
JT Miller, it goes to the corner, isn't able to get the puck as it squeaks out. It doesn't go towards him because Hertl comes out of it and it goes over Dorofeyev, who gets the puck here. And JT Miller is following Dorofeyev there.
That's his man.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's his guy. And JT Miller decides, instead of going after the puck, he is going to completely quit on the play. And I watched this and I'm so embarrassed by this entire sequence because I came into this thing thinking JT Miller was going to change the culture of the New York Rangers as the captain. And all he has done is brought every bad vibe that he had in Vancouver to this team. He quits on the play completely as Dorofeyev emerges with the puck. Dorofeyev is able to get it over to Hutton, who then buries it for a goal. And this part right here where he just decides, I'm done playing. I'm just going to stand here and glide around.
That's
unbelievable.
The way he looks right now in that freeze frame is what players look like after the clock runs out and the whistle's blown.
It looks like the play's dead.
He doesn't have a stick on the ice. He doesn't have either knee bent. And listen, maybe there's not much he can totally do, but he can harass Dorofeyev. They are right there.
Try is what you can do, Adam. You can try your hardest on every single second you're out on that ice, and JT Miller does not do that in the middle of this game. He gives up on this play in a game that's not lost because they end up losing this game 3-2.
This goal was the difference.
They lose by 1 goal, and on a goal, it's your captain who just decides to not play anymore. And I don't know what he's thinking. And I think this is just who he is now. And I'm willing to just sell all my JT Miller stock and just get out of the market. I don't want a piece of this guy anymore. I'm done. And I'm ashamed that he's the captain of the New York Rangers.
Peter Baugh wrote an article immediately following last night's game. Peter Baugh being the Athletic writer for the New York Rangers. And the title of it is "The Rangers Need More Offense from JT Miller, and He Knows It." And, here's what JT Miller said. He said, this year seems like nothing's really going in the net. We've got enough sample size. 25% of the season is gone, and we've been at a lot of 1-goal games. If I can raise my personal standard and lead the team a little bit better production-wise, I think our outcome in these games is going to change. And obviously, this has been he said, I understand if I'm producing the way I'm capable of or producing, our record might look a hell of a lot different. And trust me, it's on my mind. And that's the thing, right? It's nice that it's on your mind. And I will say this as a Leaf fan. I've heard that before from my guys. And at what point are we looking at this and going, okay, but JT, it needs to go in the net? And it also, when you give up on plays as the captain, it sets the tone for the rest of the team.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, you're the captain. You are the lead by example guy. We started the show by talking about John Tavares, who never gives up on any play, never gives up on anything, and is the heart and soul of that team when they're going at their best. And JT Miller is the complete opposite. Mm-hmm. He is a cancer that is going to infect you with laziness. And
when he plays like that, by the way, that's a very aggressive term.
JT Miller is a cancer that infects you with laziness when he's playing like this. How can you not tell me when you see this guy give up in the middle of a play that's not over yet that doesn't have some sort of effect on your team?
And when the puck's not going in, and it's not, he's got 10 points in 21 games. Being good on defense saves you. Look at Austin Matthews last season. Mm-hmm. A real down season. He scored like 40 less goals than the season before, right? Mm-hmm. But what was he good at? Defensive assignments.
He was Philip Deneau.
Yeah, he was elite defensively, still scored 30-something goals. He said, I don't expect to be a point a game every season, but I certainly feel I could be a little further along than what I am right now. And it's important to know, too, that the Mike Sullivan-led teams usually lead in expected goals, but like the differential between their expected goals and the goals they actually score is also one of the biggest chasms. Like we look back at the 2022-23 Pittsburgh Penguins. Mm-hmm. Mike Sullivan's team, like expected goals versus actual goals, that gulf was like the biggest in the league. And it looks like the Rangers are kind of like that again. And, Peter Baugh goes on to say, according to Dom Lucian's net rating model, Miller has an offensive rating of 0. Not negative, but still last among New York's usual top 6 forwards. Among that group, only Vinny Trocheck has fewer points, though he's played just 7 games.
Oh, jeez.
Like, that's bad.
Yeah.
So, I know we're talking about offense. I know we're talking about it, and I know we're talking about a defensive play here, but they're linked.
Mm-hmm.
They're linked. Your takeaways matter. Your effort matters. Your frustration level has to matter. And when you're a captain, I know you can get frustrated. You gotta bottle that a little bit more and funnel it into something.
And you want me to try and give JT Miller some leeway?
Give it to him.
Maybe that was a really long shift, and he was caught out there, and he had no more legs.
Uh-oh.
That shift was 1 minute and 2 seconds. You should have your legs.
You should have some legs.
At 1 minute and 2 seconds. That's a long shift. He'd been playing a lot too. A couple long shift before that, and one in between that was a little shorter. He's out there, but you're a very good player, and they have you out there for a reason. You shouldn't just have your controller die at that point when the puck is in your own end and you are fighting for that puck, and then you just decide, I'm done playing hockey, and the opposing team scores a goal right there, right away. That's on you, and that's a message to your entire team that you don't care.
Yes.
You don't care enough to keep going.
Yep.
And then how is the rest of the team supposed to feel about that when you are the captain and you do not care about playing a full game?
Yes. Yes. It's so funny, right? Like, that play is brutal and it's going viral. It didn't even make the article.
No.
And then that tells you, like, of the list of things that are going wrong for JT.
Oh, yeah.
It comes back to where I started this, Jess.
Yeah.
No BS. No BS, man. That's BS. That's a BS play. Listen, puck's not going in for you. You're struggling offensively. I get it. That's BS. The Rangers fans deserve better than that. That goal was the difference. It was the difference. And by the way, Vegas was not hot either. Coming into that game, they'd lost 5 of 6.
Yeah, Vegas has been struggling heavy. Yeah.
So, anyway, listen, far be it from me, because I know I'm going to get a lot of people, oh, you're a Leaf fan, whatever. Dude, I'm a Leaf fan. I know this. I know lack of effort. I've seen it. You've seen it. We've all seen it. Mm-hmm. You want to talk to me about bad starts and lack of effort? Buddy, that's my brand. I was raised in this. I got to see. I feel like the New York Rangers are better than this. I feel like they've got enough talent on this roster. But if this doesn't come together, Jesse, like, this is a team that already imploded last year. That's their implosion bullet last season. What happens now?
Yeah, I see this thing and I'm like, it might not get better. They might just be a middling team because there's not a lot of maneuvering you can do. They have a huge piece coming off the books in Panarin at the end of the season. Like, that's the big question mark here. But in terms of, like, getting better, like, you did the things last season and this offseason to try and improve the team. Like, you should be better now. You're trying to contend. So the Panarin thing is the huge question, is like, how do you want to move forward with that if this team is what it is?
Yeah.
And then you got to ask questions about, like, Zibanejad and well, Fox is going to stick around forever, hopefully. But yeah, a lot of questions if this team can't win.
Yeah, because what do? Remake it again?
Right.
Fire the coach again?
Right.
Like, Chris Drury's got to be looking at this going, what?
Chris Drury's job should be on the line.
Well, listen, when you work in New York in management, your job is literally always on the line. It's however the owner wakes up that morning. Is there anything else you want to hit before we wrap this show? Unless you want to do a press conference.
No, well, we could just 5 minutes on Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, spoke yesterday.
Yeah, you were at the press conference. There's 2 things that stood out to me, Jess. Tell me how you felt about this. He said he'd seen a lot of vanilla from the Leafs, which not wrong. And he also said Matthews hasn't skated since, he was injured, and, is going to skate later this week. And we're going to have an update of him by the weekend.
He skated yesterday.
He did skate yesterday.
Yeah, pre full team practice, Matthews was on the ice. We can do the lying about the injuries thing on Friday.
Yeah, I think I want to do that with Steve.
Okay, we'll get into all that. The big takeaways were the vote of confidence he gave to Craig Berube, saying it's not the coach's fault. That he's didn't turn into a bad coach in one season or in the off season. I think it was paraphrasing his quote there. So he believes in Craig Berube right now. Maybe that'll change, but I don't think there's a change in head coach coming unless they go on a 20-game losing streak here. And he talked about the trades, and I thought that was very interesting for our friend here, Steve Dangle, who's not here. Matt, you can bring him up though. Is he gone?
We don't have him anymore.
So Steve wants them to make hockey moves, and make trades. But Brad Treliving, I think, admitted that there's not moves out there when the team is bad. You're not going to get anything for Domi when Domi is at the bottom of his value. So, you can scream into your camera and beg for Brad Treliving to trade Max Domi or make roster changes and do all this stuff. But, he's not just going to trade. There needs to be a hockey move that makes sense for both sides and for the Leafs to get better. And I don't think right now, with how bad the Leafs are playing, that trade is available to them. And the only way that they can get out of this funk is by playing better themselves, and then playing a little better so that guys could be moved. Because you're not going to move somebody when they are playing this terribly. So I think he was just like, if you guys want stuff to happen, you're going to have to wait, and you're going to have to wait for some answers from the team themselves. The Leafs have to unveil to us who they are this year, because I think we're all still unsure. Yeah, because we don't think they're bad enough to miss the playoffs or keep their first round pick because it's top 3 and they fall that low in the standings. But I also don't think we all think right now they're going to win the Atlantic or anything like that. So they need to just play out a little bit more and tell us what kind of team they're going to be this season, and then Treliving can make some moves around that. So
will he survive that? I mean, listen, if they hadn't won last night and then they don't win in Columbus, I do think we're already hearing conversations online happen about, well, is Berube unsafe or whatever? I don't think he is. He's got $11 million remaining on his deal. I don't think he's going anywhere. And MLSE is loath to pay a guy to not work for them. So it seems like Brad might be the one that's the least safe. What was interesting to me about the whole thing is that I rarely see a quarter season check-in from a Leafs general manager. So it was clear that they needed to get out there and talk a little bit. What was the vibe? Like sometimes just the feel of something matters.
It felt a little damage control-y in that, a lot of the media guys I was talking to, they said it was kind of normal that he'd do this. Okay. Brad Treliving is more open with the media than other general managers in the league, that he'll sometimes just walk by and do an impromptu press conference if there's something pressing. He did this with Joseph Woll when Joseph Woll had to take his leave of absence. Treliving answered questions about that and was just there for a scrum. So he is more open with the media that way, but it felt way too formal and way too much of the news people showing up because of how bad the team was, that this still came across as more of a panic news conference, in that I need to put a little extinguisher on the flames here and just tell everybody, okay, things aren't going well. I know they're not going well. I'm aware of that, and that moves aren't imminent, but we're looking at it. So that's kind of what the vibes were.
Elliot Friedman said, I think on today's 32 Thoughts, that and we sort of had heard this rumor too, that there was some chatter about the Leafs potentially trading Robertson to Columbus this summer for Chinakhov, who requested a trade. Columbus obviously has, rejected that. Otherwise, the deal would have happened.
They would have liked that now.
And it looks as though, Elliot said, it looks as though the time to trade Nick Robertson has passed, as in he stay.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like anything's imminent on the trade front.
No.
So what do the Leafs, I talked about this earlier with you guys, with Steve, and he was, Steve was sort of dead on his feet, but identity. We don't know what the Leafs brand is this year. And usually that's a really bad sign. What can this identity be with the lineup the way it is? And what can they build on here for the guys who are out that they can walk back into?
I still think that team from last year that played ugly, not a fun brand of hockey to watch, but won games. I still think they can be that team. And Joseph Woll coming back and looking like Joseph Woll is a huge help.
Yep.
Like, I think the goaltending was such a big piece to this team, and that if hopefully Stollers comes back healthy and will be the Stollers of old, and then you get Matthews back and Nyes can work through that lower body injury, and everything will start churning in the right direction again, because now they have the pieces of a good team and they can be the same brand of hockey that they were last year. They don't all of a sudden have to be the Ducks and young and run and gun or anything like that. They can play their same hockey and still win games.
Okay.
They've proven it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, it's going to be really interesting. I was concerned that after a press conference, that the Leafs would then lose and it would make him look even worse. But thankfully they pulled out a win. Nobody's really talking about Brad this morning, which I'm sure he's relieved by.
I think Willie distracted everybody from the press conference.
Yeah.
It was the story in the afternoon yesterday, and then you get to today and it's all about the game yesterday. So maybe it was on purpose. Good PR they got there in Toronto.
The Leafs don't have to be the fastest team in the league, but they have got to get faster. Last night kind of showed us that. And again, it's the lowly Blues. They look like shit too, and they're slow as hell. Toronto must pick up the pace. I know they like low event hockey. Low event hockey can still be quick. So we'll see what happens against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who've traditionally weirdly had the Leafs number, like not just in the play-in round during COVID, but like dating back a whole generation. Hopefully the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, who are just a bunch of Marlies and John Tavares, are going to be able to handle that and turn it around. But we'll find out on Friday. And by the way, for anybody asking, we will not be recording VIP today, obviously, because Steve is sick. So we'll record that on Friday, and you'll get sort of a late VIP. We'll keep you up to date on when that's going to come out.
Yeah, it'll be a later drop this week because of Steve's sickness.
Yeah, blame him. So we'll see you on Friday, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Jess, you're going to be at the game tomorrow.
I will be.
Are you going to be at morning skate tomorrow?
No, we have a breakfast.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we have business things. Okay. Anyway, guys, we'll see you Friday. Thanks so much, and make sure that you're donating to Movember.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.